everyone, welcome back to Market Like a Mother, and in this episode we are really putting the word mother in Market Like a Mother today. One of the things we talk about a lot on this podcast is how life experiences shape the way that we build and lead businesses, and today's episode is a little bit different because I'm actually putting on my interviewer hat here today, and I'll be talking with Karen, our founder and CEO, about something that has deeply influenced the way that she leads her life and her company, motherhood. So I don't have children myself, so today's convo is really going to be about learning from Karen's perspective as a founder and a mom of two, and I think this topic is really important because entrepreneurship and motherhood can sometimes be framed as these competing priorities, and you might feel like maybe you have to choose one or the other when it comes to building a company, raising a family. So we're going to get Karen's take on all of that today, as she is truly living proof that you could do both. So Karen, how are you today?
I'm here and I'm living proof that you can do both sometimes, not always. I mean, there are definitely moments where you're like, wait a second, this is hard. Also, Lauren, I just have to say, because we were talking about it before the episode too, or before we started recording, but cat moms can count as motherhood, right? Maybe there's some people that,
That is true.
yeah. I think there's a lot of conversations we've had over the years that you're like, I can totally relate when my cat does.
I'm that person in the meetings where everyone's talking about their kids, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, my cats were so bad today. I get it, guys. So, but I will say, as we were working on the topics for this episode, Karen did say I was pretty spot on it. So I'm like, okay, I felt better going into today's episode.
Yeah, I liked it. You're like, I have no idea what I'm saying here. Is this correct? I'm like, dang, girl, this is really good.
I was like, phew, I was nervous. So one of the first things I wanted to ask you was, what came first for you, being a founder or being a mother? And do you think a certain order of doing one before the other makes it harder, easier?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess I can't speak to the opposite side of it, right? So I
Hmm.
became a founder first. I started my first agency when I was 24, and then I became a mom quite a few years later. So I had Carson in 2018. So he just turned 8. Um, so yeah, so I mean, I definitely have the perspective of founder and then mother, and
Hmm.
I feel like becoming a mother taught me a lot about being a leader and a founder and, how to
Hmm.
operate from a day-to-day perspective. So I would be curious to hear if we have any listeners that have done the reverse, were moms and then became entrepreneurs, what their learnings were. But yeah, founder, then mother.
Other than mother, I know, because I'm thinking, I'm sure it looks really different too. Becoming a mother first, and then obviously having taken time away to build your brand and found something I'm sure could be challenging too. So yeah, if anyone out there could chime in with your perspective, let us know. We like to interact with everyone in the comments and messages. And now take us through. I always say, if you feel comfortable, I'm like, I don't know how invasive I get with these questions, but what had to change immediately following a mother? And did you kind of have to learn a new way of life and processes with being a founder and a mother, pretty much immediately?
Yes. I think that nothing can really fully prepare you for motherhood. So maybe in a way, being a founder first was a little bit of preparation because, my agency was my first little baby in a sense, and you're taking care of it. You have to be really disciplined. You need to hold yourself accountable to things. Like a lot of that applies when you become a mother, but like becoming a mom just like blows every other experience you've ever had in your life out of the water. Like everything changes from
Yeah.
like physiological, physical, mental. Like, I mean, I was just reading something I
Yeah.
shared with another girl on our team who recently had a baby about how they call it mom brain, but now there's a term that they've like coined that is actually a way to describe how your brain changes because becoming a mom or being pregnant with a child, I'm sorry, I should say, like carrying a child changes your brain more than any other adult experience in your life. So like you're literally like becoming a different person. So yeah, it's easy. No big deal.
Wow. Yeah, I'm like sitting here, I'm like, wow, oh my gosh. um, I mean, now, obviously, I mean, like you said, you're becoming this whole new person, things are changing. Do you think that your kind of day to day and how you operated through a typical workday changed kind of as you're this new person with new experiences and new knowledge? Do you feel like your day to day looks different now I guess, kids and pickup schedules and school aside, but just kind of in the way you
Hmm.
operate and approach your work.
Yeah. So, one of the most beautiful things about having children is they help you realize what's most important in life. And so, I think that it is becoming a mom for me was a critical lesson of learning priorities. And while, it's still
Hmm.
like everything we talk about on this podcast is like, everything is a journey. We're always learning to become better and better and like improve in different ways. So I don't have anything figured out completely and I'm still practicing. But I do definitely feel like becoming a mom made it clearer to me like what really needed to be done and what could be let go of, like what could be pushed back, what wasn't as urgent, and like what would have seemed really urgent or pressing or important prior to becoming a mom definitely had like I had a
Hmm.
whole new lens on. So I think,
Yeah.
literally like taking care of and keeping a small human alive is like an experience that definitely makes you realize that, getting an email newsletter out at a certain time is not as critical as it may have felt before you were trying to keep a human alive.
Yes. I could absolutely imagine that. I'm sure at that point you're like, this is fine. Everything is fine.
Everything's fine. Yeah. Um,
Everything's fine.
yeah. I mean, I definitely think that the priority piece was huge. And then I think the
Hmm.
idea too, and again, this is something I still really try to practice, but when you are a new mom with a newborn, and everyone's experience is different too. So I'm speaking to my own personal experience, but there's a lot of like, what I would call downtime where you're kind of like going in circles, like you're
Yeah.
changing, you're feeding, you're helping them nap, you're like kind of doing what feels like a lot of things, and at the end of the day you're like, what the heck did I do today? Because I don't feel like I got anything done. I felt like I didn't accomplish anything. And so I feel like that was another big perspective, like perception shift for me too, is like that idea of like doing and checking things off the list being the most important thing and where I bring the most value
Yeah.
versus like the act of like being with my child and supporting them and feeding them and nourishing them and helping keep them alive. That might not be like checking the boxes and getting things off my list taken care of, but is obviously very important.
See, I feel like that's like back to that mindset shift that we always talk about here too, like reframing those things in your mind. So I feel like that needs to we need to like put that on a t-shirt or something now and give it out as merch because we it always comes back to mindset here.
Yeah, I think we'll have like a word
um
bubble shirt that we should create. It's definitely going to have the word systems
yes.
on there. It's going to
Systems mindset.
reframe. Yeah.
We're gonna have a whole merch line.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay tuned for big merch drop coming. Something I wanted to talk about too is on our last episode, and if you didn't listen, go listen. We talked about questions that we had got from friends and family. I'm sure that you get questions or have, misunderstandings with people who, to come to learn that you are both a founder and mother. Can you take us through maybe some of those misconceptions that you've heard or you've experienced when people, think of working moms?
Yeah, I can't think of a specific misconception, but I do feel like a lot of things are true, and one of them being it is extremely challenging, right? Like, and I think
Hmm.
there is probably a little bit of, some people that might think you can't do both well. And I guess I would probably
Right.
challenge that idea and consider that a misconception as, you like we talked about in the previous episode too, it's a lot about integration and how you look at your life in its entirety and incorporate pieces of all of the things that you enjoy and all of the aspects of your life throughout your day-to-day
Yeah.
experiences. So, um, I mean, there's definitely times that are more challenging and can be, really hard, and you might have some breakdowns and things, but I do feel like you can be a great founder and entrepreneur and business owner and also be a really great mom.
See, I love that because I do think sometimes they could be framed in this competing aspect that you have to choose one or the other. And from your perspective, like how do you think motherhood has actually now shaped how you lead Radiant present day and how you operate as this founder now?
Yeah, I think a lot of, I mean, definitely empathy. As a mom, you you want to
Mhm.
be able to hold a lot of empathy for your children, and I think that can carry through to your team too, because granted, children are different than team and adults, but everyone is learning, and we're all like doing life for the first time. And so I think being empathetic to that, and also going into things with the expectation that everyone has the best of intentions, because I think with kids too, you're like, oh
Mhm.
my gosh, why would they do this? How could they think this was right? And then if you approach it in the right way, you realize like they had no idea, right? Like they're still learning about life. And so I think the same kind of applies to, when you're managing and leading a team, is like going into it, not thinking that, if especially difficult conversations, is like not thinking that this person has like ulterior motives and they're trying to like destroy the company, or there's like anything crazy going on, but that there's probably some sort of misunderstanding, and going in with that curious mindset and the expectation, or the mindset that I totally lost my train of thought. That they're
Totally okay.
that they're still, that they're trying to do their best. We're all just really trying to do our best. And I think you see that when you have kids too, is like they really want to
Yeah.
learn and grow and experience things, and in order to do that, you have to make mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes are bigger than others. And as the parent or as a leader, you have to like let your team flourish, and be take ownership and be accountable to their own activities and mistakes, and then support them through that as they learn and grow.
See, now I'm just like, oh, Karen sees all of us employees as her babies, and I love it. I'm like, I'm just a big toddler over here.
No, but kind of. No.
A little bit. I like it. No, I like it. But no, I totally get, especially like you said, like the empathy bit of it too. I'm sure there's you, like you said, you become a whole new person when you become a mother. So there's, this whole new set of skills and way of thinking that you're bringing into it. I would love to talk a little bit about being a remote founder. We work digitally here at Radiant, and entrepreneurship and motherhood kind of in the sense of like, I guess, do you think you have more flexibility because you're remote and you're this entrepreneur? Do you think you have less? How is it kind of managing that schedule, working from home with also having children who are at home a lot of the time as well?
Oof, that has been a journey for sure. I think I've
Yeah.
experienced a mix of all of the things. I So a couple years ago, my husband sold his gym and became a stay-at-home dad while I was also working from home, and that was when our kids were a lot smaller. Now they're 8 and almost
Mm-hmm.
5. Um, and so I was like, this is amazing. Part of why he did this, we all want to spend more time together. He can be home with the kids. We can be home with each other. We can travel. We can do all this stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
so, like, there was aspects of it that were absolutely, absolutely amazing. And then,
Yeah.
probably 6 to 8 or so months into it, working from home with a very screamy toddler, I was like, this is hard.
Yeah.
So I actually ended up finding an office, right around the corner from my house, and that was like a really good shift for me to get away and have more structure to my schedule. Because also mom guilt is so real, and while I'm here working, it's hard to hear them, in the house or downstairs playing and having a good time, and not feel like I should and could be there with them. And so creating those boundaries for me, having that office space, was like definitely the reset that I needed to like dig a little bit deeper, get a little bit more focused, and create more boundaries and structure around like my office hours and my home hours.
Yeah, I love that. It's almost like a new environment to kind of put your brain in of like, okay, when I'm here, I'm in work brain, and when I'm home, I'm in mom brain. Because I'm sure that could be hard, kind of working from the same place that you're then, interacting with your kids and doing all the family stuff. So I'm sure having that separation was really nice.
Yeah, and I work from home now again too, and I think something that's important to consider, and all kids are different, obviously. So this again is my experience with my children, is having some kind of house rules established when they're very little is
Yeah.
is super helpful, and then not flexing from those. So if my door is closed, that means I'm in an office, and or in a call, sorry, and you can't come in. If my door's open, it means
Yeah.
I'm working, but you're welcome to come in and say hi, and either hang out and like read books, or just be in the space
Yeah.
with me. But I think establishing some of those rules was really helpful, because even though Summer was only 2 years old, like that repetition and reinforcing that like consistently
Yeah.
really helped her understand like what those boundaries were, and stick to them.
I love that. I feel like that's that's such a good thing to have too, just so they know. But also how nice that they could like hang out with you and read a book while you're working. Like that sounds so nice. Like best of both worlds right there, to be able to
Yes.
be spending time with them and working.
Definitely is. Yeah.
We have to give a shout out too to Natalie, one of our coworkers too, because we get to see her daughter Velvet sometimes makes an appearance on our weekly Google Meet call too, which is always fun to see everyone's kids popping in every once in a while.
Yeah. I definitely, I feel like working remote obviously makes it easier to have
Mm-hmm.
like certain types of flexibility. So like obviously you can still be with your kids, and in Natalie's case she homeschools, and so she's able to homeschool,
Mm-hmm.
work from home. But of course there's the challenges that come with that too. And depending on the type of person you are, there might be,
Yeah.
the pros and cons for you to consider, but like balance does become really hard. And then you are kind of working within your home space, like you said. So the lines become a little bit more blurred.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to like not just have rules for your children, but have rules for yourself if you are working from home as a, whether that's a working mom within a company or you're running a business. I think that kind of like setting those boundaries is important across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, like it's interesting for you becoming the founder first before the mother, because I have to ask too, like, were you intentional about creating this culture at Radiant that kind of supports working mothers and supports life outside of Radiant as you were building this? Because I'm sure, you had that in mind as you were especially preparing to become a mother, and, making sure that the culture that we have here at Radiant was one that would allow that with, ease and have the support that you needed.
Yes, I would say yes and no. Like I don't, because again, like I didn't really know what to expect or like what I would need even going into motherhood. But I did know that I
Mm-hmm.
created my agency in general to be a place that people felt appreciated, that their like well-being was considered. And so I think for that reason, it was like kind of factored in. But until I became a mom, I think it wasn't as clear like how that would work, what that would look like. But I do feel like we have set up a space and a culture that accommodates working moms in a really good way, and it does allow that flexibility. And there's like different pieces that we've put in place from like a wellness perspective that supports that. So and we're a small team, so I think there are obviously like
Yeah.
restrictions and budgetary considerations for things that I would love to do everything I possibly could, but I think as a small business you have to take into account your costs and all that too. And I think we've done a pretty good job of being able to balance that and give working moms an opportunity to like fully engage and have a fulfilling work life while also being incredible moms.
So I love that, and I think we definitely do that. I feel it at Radiant, and we do have a lot of babies, of little Radiant babies on our team, and so I think that's testament to the company culture that you've built too. As we're kind of nearing the end here, we always like to give you guys like some takeaways, some tangible advice. So, Karen, for founders who maybe feel like they have to choose between family and building a business, what would you tell them? Like, what would your advice be?
Hmm. I mean, oh, it's so hard to say, right? Like if it's on your heart, then definitely consider it, right? So if you feel like there's a inner calling, a nudge, you know, something that's urging you to consider starting a business or consider starting a family, then it's definitely something that your higher self might be wanting you to do. So I would just say, be ready to put in the work. Like it is definitely not an easy path to choose to own a business and be a mom, but it is incredibly rewarding in so many ways. And if you're up for the challenge, you will definitely have a really good time.
I love that. And I feel like too something we touched on that we talked about a lot today too is that it really does make you into a better leader too and a better entrepreneur because you're learning this new skill set. Like you said, your skills are sharpening, you're more empathetic. So I think too you get a bonus superpower too as a founder of,
Mm,
having this new outlook on life. So it's almost I would like to think of it as like almost like a boost. Like you level up.
I love that, Lauren. Thanks for saying that. I feel like I love that
Yes.
superpower perspective.
Yes. I hope that people listening are like, wow, now I need to go have a baby
Super
today.
mom.
That's the takeaway from today's episode. But um, before you guys go, be sure to check out our website to learn more about Radiant and how we help brands grow with intention. You could follow us on social. We actually have pictures on our social of us as babies this past week, so you can
Yeah.
scroll down and see our baby pictures. We're on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you love today's episode, you can have it on Apple or Spotify, and we always have the video versions up on YouTube as well. Thank you for hanging out with us today, and thank you, Karen, for a vulnerable, really open conversation. I thought it was so great.
Thank you,
And
Lauren.
until next time,
Stay
stay
radiant.
radiant.